بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So in this video, I'll continue on with the topic that we were talking about. So we discussed in the previous video that we need to take a few steps that if we want to get back to religion or increase our devotion, inshallah, towards our religion. So the first thing, as we discussed, was making dua. Dua is the most important thing, and then obviously after that is to find people who can teach us, who can guide us. And just like the Prophet ﷺ guided the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'een, and then the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'een guided the Tabi'een and the Tabi'ut Tabi'een rahimahumullah. There are going to be people who are inshallah going to guide us also in our life. We have to place some effort, just like we search for universities, search for jobs. This is an effort that we should place in, right? The next thing I want to talk about is in this video is the characteristics, right, or the traits that you want to look in people who you expect should guide you in Islam, right? And the first and the most important feature is obviously that the person has formal education in the field, right? The person is well educated. Now there's a recent trend in following people who do not have a formal degree in the field. So remember, I always give this comparison. I'll give you a few comparisons, right, just to make things clear. I give this argument to my friends all the time, that if you are, for example, looking for an instructor, right, for tuition or to learn a subject, you always look for the best person, right? So let's say you're looking for someone who could teach your child, right, something, right, like physics or chemistry, right? You are gonna prefer a person who has a degree, right? Like if there is a person who has like 20 years of self-study, and there's another person who just has like 2 years of education from a well-known institute, let's say MIT, or even lesser than MIT, you're gonna go for the person who has a degree, right? Because they have certification. You would know that that person is part of a system which teaches people, right? So always check for this. And similarly, like if your child is sick, you would never go to a doctor who has self-studied, right? So that's the most important thing. You need to make sure, like our alhamdulillah, as Islam is has a very rich history, right? The education system, our previous generation, like especially the generation of the Sahaba, the Tabi'een, the Tabi'ut Tabi'een, they laid very strong foundations of spreading knowledge throughout the generations, right? And so we have to be part of that, right? We have to make sure that we get education from people who are certified in Islam, also in religious education, also the same way we do for education in other fields. And another example, as I said, like if your child is sick, you always go to the best doctor, right? You're not going to go to a doctor who has self-studied, right? And I know that there are scholars who people have complained about, right? I'm a normal Muslim also. I learned from scholars, and you have to sort of like filter out those people and then look for the best scholars that are available, right? Um, and obviously this is something that you need to talk about. This is an effort that you have to place in to find the best person, right? As I told you, that I also went through a phase in my life where I went to different people, and then I eventually settled down with my sheikh. And for me, my sheikh is the standard, and I do my own research also. Alhamdulillah, I have a PhD, so I'm used to doing a lot of research. And alhamdulillah, he's very open to questions. So you have to find someone like this. For me, like I found, from my perspective, the best person. You should go on a quest to find someone who matches your frequency. So it's a quest that you have to go through. It's an effort that you have to place in. Nothing is gonna be served in your plate, and no one's gonna just put the food in your mouth. You have to place an effort. So that's the first time. The person should be educated in the field, and should have a degree from a well-known institute. Should have learned things from well-educated people. And I'll keep on talking about these things because this is something I think people miss a lot these days. It's just a big mess out there in the social media, in my point of view. The other thing, because I'm briefly talking about the traits that you should focus on, the first thing is obviously education. The other thing is that the person is respectful of the elders in that field or the experts in that field. Now remember, like me as a physicist, right? Alhamdulillah, I have a degree in physics. If someone says that Einstein or Feynman or Dirac, these people did not know any physics, I'm never going to consider that person a physicist, right? Because if you don't know or don't respect the experts who have laid foundations of a field, you're never gonna, I don't expect you to know, to be an experts in physics. Yes, you can question them in a respectful way, but you're not supposed to disrespect them or, announce that you're the only one who knows everything and then everyone was wrong. And this is, in my point of view, the indication of a crackpot in any field. Like if you say that, if there's any person, like even in physics, for me, this is the standard. If someone comes along and says everyone was wrong and I'm right, then for me that person is a crackpot, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also respects the efforts of people in every other field, like just like people who serve and place efforts in religious education, who have laid foundations of knowledge in Islam, any field, right? People who are experts, we have to respect them, right? So respect is a very important thing, right? There's a dua in Surah Al-Hashr also that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us, that helps us, as I said, dua is the most important thing, and I always make a lot of dua, and this dua is so beautiful, and it says ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان, that you're asking for forgiveness for yourself and the people who have been there before you, your brothers and sisters before you, right? ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا, and then don't have and bless us with purity of heart, so that we don't have anything bad about them in our hearts, right? So it's in Surah Al-Hashr, I think it's verse 10. So the reason I'm not really good with references, but the reason I'm mentioning this specifically is that you should memorize these type of du'as and make these du'a after prayers or during prayers. So that's the second thing, right? That the person should be an expert in their field. They should be respectful. There are other traits that we can talk about, but these were the two dominant traits. Like other traits, like they should be always obviously practicing, right, what they're preaching to the max. No one is perfect, right? But we should try to see that always make sure that the person is practicing also to the best of his effort, and also the person is always willing to correct themselves if they find that they have mistakenly said anything or done anything. So this was it. This is a bit longer video because it's an important topic. It's the second step, right? Then dua, and then finding the person, and what placing an effort to find the person, and then you look for the traits, right? And there are more details to it. We'll keep on talking about these and randomly in other videos. So Jazakallah for watching. If you have any questions, make sure you ask me any questions in the comment. And thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Keep smiling and keep learning.